Republican Party of Virginia. We need to understand that we are philosophically, policy-wise, we are all on the same sheet of music. We're on the same page. And we need to be able to have primary battles in which we can get through the primary and we haven't beaten up the winner of the primary so bad that there's barely any fight left in them when they go into the general election. So we all need to stand strong. Let's have a good debate in the primary, but once we get to the general, we coalesce around that person, just like the Democrats coalesce around their person, and then we fight them and we show them just how many Republican votes there really are in the Commonwealth of Virginia.
Before we go into closing statements, I did have one announcement that was brought to my attention to make. The half and half drawing is about to conclude, so the lady in the hat back there, Deb, see her, and also stick around after the closing announcements because door prizes will be drawn. So next we'll go into our closing statements, and what we'll do is give each candidate 3 minutes to present a closing statement, and we'll do the opposite we did for opening statements, which will mean that we'll give Chairman Stewart 3 minutes for his closing statements. Chairman Stewart.
Well, thanks a lot, Adam. Thank you to all of you. We can't win this with all of your help. That's just absolutely the case. But let me tell you something. It can be done. Don't buy into it for a moment. This idea that Virginia is lost. Don't think about that for just not even a second. You know why I know this? Because I know this from personal experience. How many times have I been told I was not going to get reelected? In Northern Virginia, countywide in Prince William County, 465,000 residents. You got to be tough. You got to stand up for what you say. And you got to get things done. And as chairman of the Board of Supervisors up there, we've got the lowest taxes by 30% compared to all the other jurisdictions in Northern Virginia. When I was elected, the average tax bills were $4,141. Since then, we've hired hundreds of new police officers, hundreds of new firefighters, over 1,000 new teachers. We've built $500 million worth of roads, more libraries, more parks, all because we have a growing population. And today, tax bills in 2018 dollars are lower than when I took office 12 years ago. That is what we've got to do. We can't just talk. We can't just share our philosophy. We have to be able to get things done. And you've got to be able to nominate. And here's been the problem, frankly, since 2009. The Republican Party has been nominating Republicans who have no experience and who have no track record of ever winning an election in Northern Virginia. We've got to get our base out here in Southwest, in the Valley, in South Side, in the conservative counties around Richmond and Hampton Roads. And yes, we've got to be able to win the battleground counties, including Prince William County and Northern Virginia. Now, the Democrats say, look, Trump didn't win Virginia. You know what the fact is, what they're missing? We were outspent in Virginia by Clinton 7-1. And at the end, the campaign took its resources, the Trump campaign took its resources out of Virginia and sent them up to the more battlefield states, Pennsylvania, North Carolina, etc. That was probably the right thing to do at the end. I didn't like it very much. But we could have won Virginia. We only lost by 5 points. And we were outspent 7-1. So folks, if you will put your trust in me, as Republicans in Northern Virginia have done, and I will not only give you a conservative United States Senator, but I will give you a victory, and you're all going to be watching MSNBC and CNN as they're crying their eyes out on Election Day this November. Thank you all very much.
So a couple of things. I mean, first, again, I've enjoyed serving in the Virginia General Assembly, and it's been a productive experience. There's a reason why I have an A rating from the Family Foundation, an A rating from the BCDL, an A rating from the American Conservative Union, an A rating for Americans for Prosperity, an A rating from the NRA. There's a reason why Senator Rand Paul, Senator Mike Lee, Delegates Dave LaRocque, Delegates Dorinda Pogge, Delegates Todd Gilbert, people that have been stalwarts of conservatism within the Commonwealth of Virginia have endorsed my candidacy. It's because they've seen that I've been able to get things done within the Virginia General Assembly, and because they believe I can take that message to Virginia. One of the most difficult things we have, and one of the worst pieces of analysis I've seen, is this idea that the reason why we lost in 2017 is because we were either too conservative, or because we just didn't do this right, or we didn't do that right. One of the things that we need to be able to do is we do need someone that can go and translate the positive outworkings of Donald Trump's policies at the federal level to all areas of Virginia. Because everyone is benefiting from tax reform. Everyone is benefiting from regulatory reform. But we have to be able to speak to it in a way that actually is relevant to the people that we're addressing. And we have to not only get out the Republican vote, we need to get other people in. But the way we do that is, again, not by compromising on our principles. The way we do it is by explaining those principles in a way that really touches people and affects them and meets them where they're at personally. And I will tell you the other thing, because I'm very proud to support this effort right here. If you want to win in 2018, part of it's regardless of who this nominee, part of it's up to us. But the other part is making sure that we actually do what we need to with respect to our ground game to get our voters. We can't sit around and just say, oh, well, the Democrats got urban areas, it's easier for them to register voters, it's easier for them to get the vote out. We need to be able to get into our rural communities, make sure those voters are registered, and then get them to the polls. I'm telling you right now, annoy your friends within 48 hours of the election. You don't got to annoy them the whole summer, but 48 hours of that election, if you get out there and you actually tell them you need to come out and vote, I'm willing to bet each one of you in here has 10 friends that only vote if you remind them to. Well, either one of us is going to need you to remind them to, but the way we need to do that is, again, coalesce around our candidate in the general election, and I guarantee you we can win Virginia.
Sir, I appreciate you